Pay close attention. A lot of this information will be useful in the second part of the show, when we will be playing awesome trivia games. Your team will have a much better chance of winning if you pay attention to the informative flashes during the rest of this night. We would now like to invite our very special guest, Luis Gomez, to open the 2015 Latin American Night in Quechua. For those of you who do not know, Quechua was the official language of the Inca Empire. It is still very much alive and very much spoken in Peru, Ecuador, and Bolivia, for about 10 million people. Luis Gomez will now introduce us to the pre-Columbian indigenous groups that inhabit the modern Latin American territory.
Imaynaya kachkanki orbalis llaqtarunakuna. Ñuqallaymi kunantuta hamuchkani. Takikuy kuspa ancha kusisqa. Pasan kunatammi mana ima Europe nisqan llaqtamanta runakuna.
I will start tonight's journey by telling you about indigenous cultures that existed in Latin America long before the Europeans arrived. The history of Latin America goes far back in time, to a time when it wasn't even called America, and when Europeans were not yet in this part of the world. This land has had many names, realities, and cultures. But first, let me introduce myself. I am the leader of this place where we gather today. We are sitting right now in one of the most important places for the indigenous cultures that live and still live in Latin America. This place is called Amaloca. It is a circular hut made of wood with two open doors and a central fire pit. It is built out of wood and the ceiling is made of palm leaves. The Amaloca is divided into areas where different activities take place. In the front, the elders gather and their knowledge is shared. In the back, the food is made and the kids play. The Maloca is our safe place, our shelter. More importantly, the Maloca is the center of all knowledge. It is the place where the leaders meet and transmit their wisdom to younger generations. The Maloca is, in fact, a traditional government structure. Within it, leaders and elders gather and make decisions about their world, territory, education, and their community. The Maloca represents the mother, the home. Therefore, it is deeply spiritual place. For some indigenous groups, the whole universe is made out of invisible Malocas. These invisible Malocas are interconnected by spiritual paths. Paths that can be walked by shamans. The Malocas exist in the underground, the rivers, and the cosmic levels. They are the places where the foundations of the universe is located. The indigenous tribes of the Maloca value their tradition and the knowledge that comes from them. They have gathered in and transmitted their knowledge orally for centuries, for millennia. The purpose of this place, the Maloca, where you are sitting right now, is to keep that tradition alive. Today, Alas greets all of you to our Maloca to tell the story of Latin American diversity. We're using this space to create knowledge and share cultural diversity with the OSU community. From here, we will travel through different cultures and historic moments that help create our current culture. Welcome.
The indigenous groups that inhabited America before the Europeans arrived came to the continent through a land bridge that connected Siberia and Alaska between 45,000 years ago and 10,000 years ago. This bridge appears and disappears over the Bering Strait over time. The ancestors of the Latin American indigenous groups passed through the land bridge following herds of big mammals. Some of the oldest cultures in Latin America were hunters and gatherers. Archaeological ruins and tools found in Mexico and Trinidad Island connect us with civilizations that existed over 7,000 years ago. The Olmecs ancestors, the Ortoyoid people, walked and hunted in our lands many years before the arrival of the Spaniards. The oldest known indigenous culture of the Western Hemisphere is the Norte Chico, one of the cradles of civilization and a main point for the development of the Indian indigenous cultures. They established over 30 interconnected settlements in the coast of Peru. Until recently, no one understood the importance of their main city, the city of Caral. The people who lived in the city of Caral were building pyramids, while the Egyptians were building the Giza pyramids. The first civilization to leave their legacy in Central America were the Olmecs, the sons of the jaguar, whose culture showed a close relationship with nature. They were the first civilization in the Western Hemisphere to develop a writing system. Their artistic traditions served as basis for many other Mesoamerican groups. Their biggest standing legacies are the head monoliths, which can be found in the tropical jungles of Mexico.
The foundations of those previous cultures allowed the growth and development of vast cities and nations that existed when the first Europeans arrived to America. Indigenous architecture, expressions of art, religion, and wisdom spread throughout the whole continent. This diversity took different forms in the sedentary groups, raising stone and clay empires, and the nomad groups changing behaviors and merging their traditions with the complexity of the jungles. In Central America, we can find buildings made by the Mayan civilization. They developed the only writing system of the pre-Columbian America. Also, their advanced knowledge in agriculture, mathematics, and astronomy are reflected in their cities. Many of their cities can be found deep in the Yucatan jungle, today the home of the jaguars and tigers. The largest empire in Central America were the Aztecs of Mexico, the people of Aztlán. Their warrior tradition helped them spread throughout Mexico. They built their main city on the top of a lake, following the presence of an eagle eating a snake as an indicative mark of an ancient prophecy. Their engineers maintained water channels as connections in the city, resembling the Italian Venice of the Spaniards' eyes. Their advances in technology, engineering, and culture were astonishing, developing a complex language and structured social system. In South America, no civilization can be compared with the Incas. Their vast territory extended from Colombia to Chile in what is considered the largest empire of the pre-Columbian Americas. Organized under the command of a king who represented the dynasty of the Sun, they attained rough geography, ranging from coastal regions and tropical rainforests to the wild mountains of the Andes. These diverse and culturally rich civilizations emerged in the Latin American territory before the Spanish conquest and shaped future indigenous groups. Also, their traditions changed the beliefs of the new landing. To finish this story, we want to present the rhythms from the existing Amazonian cultures that still maintain their roots and traditions. This is the music of the Peruvian Amazon indigenous groups, some of the survivors of the American development.
continue with our travel. To continue with our travel through the indigenous groups, we are presenting to you the deer dance. This was a ceremonial dance performed by the Yaquis and the Mayos, indigenous from Sinaloa in Mexico. This dance mixes several natural and mystic elements, representing beliefs about life and death. This performance shows the respect these people had for the deer, which is a natural resource vital for their survival. Cuando el telecote canta, el indio muere. When the owl sings, the man dies. This traditional saying that still remains in Mexico has its roots in these native cultures.
Flash informativo. Dear guests, remember that the information that you're about to receive will be used for the game, so pay close attention. Siglos antes de la llegada de los europeos, mediante la selección artificial de plantas salvajes, los pueblos de Centroamérica obtuvieron el maíz. Y los pueblos del altiplano andino seleccionaron tubérculos para desarrollar las papas. Hoy, estas plantas se cultivan en todo el mundo y son una fuente fundamental de alimento para muchas civilizaciones. Todo gracias a las manos de aquellos que durante siglos seleccionaron las mejores semillas para que nosotros podamos tener deliciosas papitas con nuestro pescado. Tierra a la vista. Land on sight. Carta de Colón a los reyes de España. Señor, porque sé que habréis placer a la gran victoria que nuestro Señor me ha dado en mi viaje, os escribo esta, por la cual sabréis como en 33 días pasé de las islas de Canaria a la India con la armada que los ilustrísimos rey y reina, nuestros señores, me dieron y donde yo hallé muy muchas islas pobladas con gente sin número, y de ellas todas he tomado posesión por sus altezas con pregón y bandera real extendida, y no me fue contradicho.
The territory that we now know as Latin America was occupied by European colonizers over the course of centuries. The first step for colonization was taken when Cristóbal Colombo, also known as Cristóbal Colón or Christopher Columbus, arrived in the continent of America. He and his crew first landed in the Bahamas on October 12, 1492. The island is now known as Guanahani, but Colombo called it San Salvador. Over the course of 3 expeditions, they visited several Caribbean islands, all of which they called by different names. What we know today as Cuba, they called Guana. Santo Domingo, they named La Española. Columbus' crew went as far as the coast of modern-day Venezuela. The second step for colonization required the Europeans to defeat the large and advanced civilizations that they found in the New World. As an example, in the heart of present-day Mexico was the city of Tenochtitlan, which at the time was the most important city of the Aztec Empire. Hernán Cortés took Tenochtitlan on August 13, 1521. The conquest of Mesoamerica began that day. A similar effort took place in the South American Andes. Francisco Pizarro was the Spaniard who captured Atahualpa, the last Inca emperor. That caused the fall of Tahuantinsuyo, the Incan Empire, on November 15, 1532. Both the Aztec and the Inca empires fell by the hand of European colonizers, but the settlers did not act alone. Native indigenous tribes that resented their domination by the Aztecs and Incas played a role in helping European colonizers. While empires were being defeated by Spaniards in Mesoamerica and the Andes, the Brazilian territory was being claimed by Pedro Álvares Cabral. Cabral arrived in the shores of present-day Brazil on April 22, 1500. He rode to the Portuguese crown to report that he found land, a land which he called Veracruz. That land was inhabited by smaller indigenous groups, so the Portuguese never had to defeat any large empires.
Ay, Señor, ciertos días vendrán hombres muy blancos, ha de oírse en los bosques del marcial caracol, cataratas de sangre colmarán los barrancos y entrarán otros dioses en el templo del sol. Atahualpa was the Inca emperor when the Europeans arrived. He was held prisoner at the city of Cajamarca in Peru. To buy his liberty, Atahualpa told Pizarro